Gilbert Burns previews his upcoming headliner against Michael Morales and vows to go on another run towards the title, turning around the negative momentum he's accumulated in his last 3 outings. Since his loss to Belal Muhammad, Durinho turned from one of the most dangerous contenders in the welterweight division to a fighter who's perceived as being at the last stage of his UFC career, with enthusiasm from fans rapidly declining. At 38 years of age, being on a 3-fight losing skid is a tough scenario for anybody in the sport, especially if you're occupying one of the most talent-rich weight classes in the company. His opponent this weekend is the undefeated Michael Morales, who's won 5 fights in a row since he signed with the UFC. It seems like the usual setup from the brass, giving a young prospect a big name who's older and on the decline. But Gilbert is planning on upsetting UFC's plans for Morales, promising he'll be hunting for the title soon after turning around his career trajectory with a win over Michael.
That's why I took that fight too. First of all, I need that challenge. I need a guy that, oh my God, that guy, I gotta put on the work to beat this guy. I need that. I cannot be an easy fight that I just need to have fast away and then, no, I need that guy. Okay, that guy is danger. That shit might have thing that like, oh my God, that guy gonna try to kill me. I gotta be ready. Let's train. Let's get it. So I needed that first. And secondly, I agree with you. If I go out there, beat Michael Morales, and I believe I will, and go out there, beat another guy, maybe, I don't know, Leon Edwards or maybe a top guy like that, I'm back on a conversation. And as crazy as it might sound, I believe in that story. I believe in that movie story that the guy was 3-5 losing streak. He lost to Kamaru and lost a close fight to Shimaev, and then come back and then he lost. Oh, he's old, he's done. I just love that movie, you know, and then I believe it's real, you know. I do believe I'm crazy enough to really believe that's happening, you know.
Jack Della Maddalena says the newly acquired title doesn't really mean much to him, as he understands that it's all about activity and each fight itself. Anyone can lose on a given day, he says, still confident in his ability to defend the championship against the contenders. With Dana announcing who's challenging him next, only a few days after he took the title away from Belal, it doesn't look like his early reign will have any amount of uncertainty or inactivity, and it's safe to say, just like us, he's excited for this next one. Speaking with Helwani, JDM shared his thoughts on the MAKHACHEV fight and responded to Islam's comments after his fight with Belal. The Aussie thinks the lightweight champion will underestimate him, and that's a factor that he likes. Aside from his immediate future, the champ also discussed the state of his weight class, specifically the very top of it. Even without MAKHACHEV, the welterweight division remained one of the most top-heavy ones in the company, but now things will get spicier.
I don't know. I reckon he's going to underestimate me as well.
You like that, though?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, for sure. But it doesn't really matter what he thinks. We're gonna fight. I'm ready for the challenge. But there's also the welterweight division. There's a lot of good challenges as well. So it's crazy how the welterweight division sort of kind of opened up a lot. Now there's a lot of challenges, and now you also have MAKHACHEV going to wanting to step up. So yeah, big decisions to be made by the big dog. Shavkat's always
Shavkat, golly, yeah. Sometimes forget about him.
Yeah, I don't know where he is. I mean, that's the fight. I've been gunning for that fight for a long time. The run he's been on, finishes, never lost. I think some of the other guys need to fight it out. I think Gary and Brady should just fight it out.
I agree.
I think after watching the Leon fight, you would have looked at Brady and thought he's definitely the next guy. But then Gary, now he's back in the mix in a way.
John Anik tells Belal to stop making insulting statements and acting in a way that contradicts the kind of personality he actually has. As it is with many fighters who get some recognition for the first time after either going on a high-profile winning streak or, in his case, also becoming champion, Belal has been trying to up his trash-talking game and create a persona for himself that he thinks attracts more fans and engagement, not only on social media, but also as it relates to his career in general. From things like calling out Duplessis and saying he'd be an easy opponent to comparing his boxing skills to Canelo's, Belal's been trying to get some attention from a larger amount of fans for a while now. How effective it's been, you be the judge. But UFC's play-by-play commentator and Muhammad's friend John Anik got honest on his latest podcast, sending a message to Belal in the form of advice. John explained to the former champion why his choice of trying to imitate Colby Covington is failing him.
Promotionally, to build fights or otherwise, he steps outside of himself a little bit, whether it's saying things like Dricus Duplessis sucks or I'm going to knock Jack out in round 3. And, some of this stuff is confidence. And I think some of these things sort of can border on cockiness. And to the victor go the spoils, right? So whether it's Robert Whittaker and Alexander Volkanovski, two inherently of the nicest guys in the game, maybe having fun at Belal's expense, or the new champion Jack Della Maddalena posting a video on YouTube, how to beat Belal, right? To the victors go the spoils. And when Belal won the title, the rallying cry was sort of cry, because everybody was in a bad mood about it. But I do think if I could give Belal any advice, it wouldn't be technical, and he's not looking for advice from me. But my advice for him obviously would not be technical. He's got plenty of sources for that, But, when I hear him say Dricus sucks, that doesn't seem like it is Belal to me. That doesn't seem like the human being that I know, right? So I just feel like he should just be himself, because that's the guy I love. Ken Flo is back with us now. I don't know how much you heard of what I had to say, but where do you stand in all of that? Because I do think for Belal, part of the reason why maybe...
Chael Sonnen comments on the Jon Jones situation with the status of his fight against Aspinall, and responds to fans' conviction that Jon is the one who this uncertainty and delay can be blamed on. It seems Bones is interested in anything but defending his title against the interim champion. He's now joined some Russian show that tries to be an imitation of The Ultimate Fighter alongside Nate Diaz. Dana promises the fight will happen, and we'll find out about it soon. But so far, things don't look to have progressed much since the last time Aspinall gave an update about his meeting with Dana and Hunter. Sonnen thinks that UFC is quite comfortable in this position, as they hold the ultimate power and can strip Jon at any moment if they deem it necessary. But because it's not the best outcome, they're basically being patient. Chael also pointed out that there's no evidence of one side holding this thing up, and it's all been speculation.
UFC could pull the card of stripping Jon Jones, of making Tom the undisputed champion without ever having to throw a punch. Or if Tom is going to go out there and fight and defend, it will not be a defense of the interim belt. It could be a defense for the vacated undisputed belt. And I'm not sharing with you that I predict for you we're getting to that point. I'm reminding you that we aren't to that point. And we aren't to that point because the UFC, which is the middlemen, they're the ones negotiating. They're hearing the tones. Dana knows in certain tones, not just your words, how close you are to coming to the table to getting a fight done. And it would seem as though he believes this is still manageable. This is still obtainable. And this whole idea that Jon Jones is holding this up or Jon Jones is not going to fight Tom, at this point, you don't have that evidence. And it's nothing more right now than speculation.